Hello there, and welcome to the next chapter. In this video, we will be giving you the official Washington Street Zavinsky house tour of our new residence here in the town of Indiana, Pennsylvania. So actually today, it is a Friday, August 26th. Colton is actually at the Punxsutawney campus taking his culinary classes at the Indiana University of Pennsylvania. So I figured now that I've got this house fully set up right around the end of the month here, that I would give you the tour, and without further ado, let's check it out. Welcome. Now Colton thought this would be pretty funny if we had our bootleg plush of Silver the Hedgehog and our Chansey plush greeting you as you came in the front door. So that's what we did, at least that's what we're doing for now. We have some wreath decorations and things like that, which we might do in the future, but we thought that that was funny, so that people can know what they're getting into when they go to the nerd's house. And the first thing that you are greeted with above the entryway, our archway here, is our most recent commission of SiriusLee from Apache on Twitter. And this really just kind of summarizes what our lives are going to be for the next couple of years. Me working for the Boy Scouts of America, and then him going to culinary school. And I am putting on his chef hat and making sure that this dream can become our new reality. And as I talk about dreams, let's head into the living room. And I lied. Before we do that, let's look at our front closet. Now, we don't have the closet space that we used to in the old apartment. That was a huge walk-in closet, but we do have 3 separate closets because technically 4 or 5 college kids are living here at a time, but since it's just the 2 of us, we're using this front closet for long sleeve shirts and my stuff on this side, separated by my current Boy Scout uniform for the Lower Highlands Council, and then we have jackets and coats and everything on the right. So that's going to be a theme. My stuff on the left, Colton's on the right, as we check out those other closets here. And it was actually just this past weekend in which we hung up most of this art in the living room, doing it together. And shout out to our friend Gabe, who we visited earlier this summer, because he reminded me that a laser level exists, which is great because that really helped with some of these bigger pieces of art. So speaking of art, let's just start with what is on the other side of this entryway. So you actually have our group wedding photo from last year. So every time you leave the house, you actually get to get blessed by your family and friends, our family and friends. As we leave the house, we get to check them out as we go out into the world and conquer everything. We thought that that would be a cute place for the group wedding photo. And then moving over to our right, this is the wall of Mal makes, and that starts with the Journey piece from 2016. And then we have our calendar, of course, with our keys. We still got our beautiful droid boys from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on this keychain holder, as well as a few other knickknacks from the Grand Canyon and the Albanese factory. We still have this key dish because, man, we've been using it for 3 years now, and why stop? Over to our right, we have a new shoe rack that we had to pick up, so fairly inexpensive there. And then I think I'm pretty proud of the color combination here. You have our gigantic red and gray forest scene canvas here, and then it kind of accents well with Colton's artificial flower bouquet that honestly I think he made like a couple years ago. We just haven't screwed with it since then, because I like the dash of color that it brings to the place. And then it's on top of our collection of CDs and a few books and our copies of the Switch Player magazine. I have every copy of Switch Player magazine. And then we have our stereo system that's just sitting on the floor. And then we have our lamp, which you've probably seen before. It's adorned with the Inkling stuffed animals, as it has been in the past. But we actually thought it'd be the perfect place for the statue of the Baron. He actually plays music. We just thought that he fit perfectly in that little spot. And then down below, again, we have our boy from Deltarune, Ralsei, and that's just one of the best plushes in existence. Thank you, babe. We got that for me a few years ago. And then we have our Yarn Yoshi amiibo set as well. And then I believe Colton won this plush at the Porter County Fair in Valparaiso, Indiana. So, you know, he's big and he takes up the space. So, we're not going to go into this side of the house quite yet, but in tradition with our art being above archways, we also put the art of Sirius and Lee getting married, which is another commission that we had received this year. So a really beautiful piece there. And then that is also adorned with our kind of fall kanji themed retro Mario set, which is kind of the warm colors that are mostly existing on this wall, only to be interrupted by the blue of our wedding. But we have a lot of our wedding decorations in the bedroom, so this piece kind of signifies that, hey, you're going into the love chamber, but we're not gonna do that quite yet. And then over here on the wall, basically the first art that you see, the really big stuff when you walk in, is we have our Malmakes hexaptic silhouettes of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is an amazing piece. And then our poster for Super Mario World, and they're the same size. So we figured putting them on top of each other looked really awesome. And then as we move our way over to the right, we're gonna get to that plush collection in a second. We have our clock, and then in terms of art, we have two similar sized pieces. The Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising, and then the Sonic the Hedgehog Go Faster graffiti. I love both of these pieces of art, and we thought that they looked pretty good right here. Now this is something brand new. We used to have most of our stuffed animals just stacked on totes that were alongside the walls in our bedroom, which was a solution for presentation, but it wasn't really the most striking. Well, now we decided to upgrade. We got a shelf that is specifically just for plushes. So that's the whole setup. As you can see, we have a lot, and actually there's still a half garbage bag full of them that we didn't use that is in the attic. But to go into a little bit more detail here, we just have a lot of bigger things on the top. You know, from Lugia, I believe that's an otter plush from the Pittsburgh Zoo. Some of our favorite Pokemon, like Altaria for Colton, and Swablu. The Swablu is bigger, and I just find that hilarious. And then Sfeel for me. We have our foxes, including Lucky and Nick Wilde. We have no less than 4 Pikachu, and then a Pichu as well. Our Budsy plushes of Sirius and Lee. We have a couple gifts up here too. The Totoro was from our friend Brandon. We picked up the Porg from Galaxy's Edge, and we have big Nintendo plushes like Blathers, the Meta Knight that I received from E3 2019, and then other Pokemon, Doc Ondar, beautiful stuff. And then each cubby kind of has a theme. So we have here our stuffed animals from places that mean a lot to us in our relationship. So you have a lion cub from the Pittsburgh Zoo. You have an elk, which is a plush that we got from the Grand Canyon from our honeymoon last year. And then you have a Wolf Park plush, which is a place that we visited on the vlog earlier this year. And then below them, kind of more heartfelt stuffed animals. We have a spotted dog from the Potawatomi Zoo, and then just a few cat plushes that Colton got me when we were long distance dating, because it's the only pussy that I could touch. So over here, we got some Pokemon. We've got really just Eevee, and then some Evolutions. We actually have half of the Evolutions, as you can see. We have Mimikyu lurking back there as well. And then we have some of our smaller, cuter boys over here. Totodile, Trico, Charmander, Pancham, Rowlet, Litten, Togepi, and there's a couple more back there as well. And then moving on from Pokemon to Mario, we have our Mario plushes, Waluigi, Yoshi, Lemmy Koopa, Birdo, Diddy Kong, Paracoopa, and you got Mario and Bowser back there, but man, we had to put them all somewhere. And then Mario is above Sonic. We have Sonic Tails, Silver Blaze, and a few other miscellaneous plushes in the back there. And then moving over to all other video game franchises, we have Link from the Wind Waker, Fox McCloud, and then a collection of Animal Crossing characters, including Kix, KK Slider, Brewster, and then we have Judd from Splatoon. And then down below, we have some other pop culture stuffed animals, including Rocket the Raccoon, Darth Vader, the Loth Cat lurking in the background if you can see it, and a few My Hero Academia characters. And this is just the general layout for the living room. So we have our same couch that we had picked up a couple years ago here with our coffee table made by Colton's grandfather. And then we have our TV set up as well. So we're going to go into a little bit more detail there. And then as a good cat owner, we've just made this one end table have blankets so that Jem can rest here, which she has been doing quite a bit. And then also a great perch to look out the window. And something that she's started doing since we're living here now is using the TV stand to cross from window to window, which I don't really approve of, but I can't stop her even if I put stuff on the TV stand to fill the space. It just isn't working out. That's okay. So we got our movie collection. So we have a lot of anime movies, Studio Ghibli movies, other animated content, and the list goes on and on for our movie tower. The entertainment setup in general is something that we're very, very proud of because I seem to make a better job of it every time that I work on it. But let's start with the top of the TV stand first. We got some decorations, mostly Star Wars and Nintendo stuff. So I have my box set of the Skywalker Saga with some trinkets from Galaxy's Edge, including Darth Vader, this AT-AT, this A-Wing, and a few other things here, as well as our picture from Galaxy's Edge at Black Spire Outpost. And then honestly, over to the right, I just used this opportunity to showcase some of my favorite looking amiibo. Ones that aren't really part of a set per se, but ones that look really cool nonetheless. So I always like King K. Rool, and he is pointing eternally to our Nintendo Switch. So he's always asking you to play games. And then we got some of my other favorites here. Wolf Link, 2 Monster Hunter Rise amiibo, Samus from Metroid Dread, Pac-Man, Young Link, Wolf, Mewtwo, Incineroar, Piranha Plant, Shulk, so on. Yeah, we have 3 awesome canines right here. But yeah, pretty good group of characters. It's got more of a free form approach than I typically go with, but I like that this time because I'm trying to battle my OCD with a little bit more of a free form display. And then my man Chibi Robo, always overseeing all technical issues in case we need something switched around. He is there to help us out. But of course on the top, we have the Wii U gamepad. It doesn't really go anywhere else, but primarily we're playing Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5, and that's about it. We still got our wedding flowers to accent the PS5 here on the right, and then we have another movie tower over here. But now I'm going to show you kind of what I've done with the bottom. So we got some movies controllers in the shelves. I don't need to show that off. But on the top row, we have our collection of NES and SNES cartridges, and then our collection of N64 cartridges, and then you can really see that most of the Nintendo consoles do fit on the same row. So I got the Retro Duo, which does play both NES and SNES, and then on top of that, I have the NES and SNES minis, and then an original Nintendo 64, and then you don't need a GameCube, but it's there for show because I do hook everything up through the Wii, and then we have a Wii U as well as on top of our 3DS collection, and then our Nintendo Switch collection below it. And really the only console that's on the bottom there is a PlayStation 3, which won't get a ton of use. But then we have my Samus Returns 3DS, some movies, TV shows, some of the best in the business there. But that's pretty much what we got going on for the entertainment setup, and I like it a lot. Our coffee table is more of the same. We still have these new coasters that we got from Rosie Wilhelm, with who we met at the Valparaiso Art Festival. And then we have some of our pottery to collect some of our stuff for the coffee table. We have my rivet wood carving from Midwest Fur Fest of last year. Gotta have her watching out the living room. And that's it. We mostly keep the coffee table clear so that we can use it to eat on. And above the TV, we have less wall space this time, so we decided to actually frame a couple new pieces of art. This Lugia and Zapdos we received from a really awesome artist, and I can't remember the name of, but maybe you can recognize their stuff, who we met at Midwest Fur Fest 2021, and we thought those two pieces looked great together above the television. And then on top of that, we have these couple flowered animals that I picked up from Denver at the Gaylord when I visited for work earlier this year. So we just thought that that was a cute little setup for above the television. And then moving over to our right, first of all, I will say that we got a nice view out of our window here. We got some flowers in our bush, and it's a pretty nice view. And then Jem appreciates it even more. But then, the rest of this wall, as you can see, this is the Malmakes wall. I wasn't kidding. We already covered a few pieces. But here we have our canvas pieces, not the originals. We are not that rich. But we can show off our art from Ghost of Tsushima and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And then Star Fox 64 as well, which is a matted poster that we had framed. And then a Super Mario Galaxy puzzle that I did not do. My mom did that, actually. I've had that for many years now. And I told you that we would get back here, and now we're actually going through. We have our little 2021 mini photos here. This Is Us, which is, I'm pretty sure, a bad TV show, but, you know, it was cute, so we got it. This is our bathroom, not a giant bathroom. We can no longer take baths, but I can sit in the shower, and we got a really nice, kind of flexible shower head, so a pretty good improvement there, I think. And we got our normal pieces of flowery goodness here in the bathroom. Not too much to talk about here. That's what our sink looks like. Now you know. But I think now we will actually go into the office first. And this is my office, which is also a bedroom technically because it does have a closet, but we don't really use it as a bedroom because we're only two people and we gay, so we sleep together. But yeah, this closet we're mainly using for work clothes, formal wear, because I don't go into this closet every day per se, but I have my shirts and slacks and suits, and Colton has some dress clothes as well. So that's pretty much what this is, a little extra storage. We have our towels up there as well because there's not really storage in the bathroom. So we're getting good use out of this closet. And that's all she wrote for that space. But now I can show you around the office itself, which is really just full of a lot of nerdy items. So I guess we can start with this wall, and we'll just go clockwise from here. So there's still some wall space for potentially other things. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it though, because this is Jem's shit corner. We didn't want the litter box in the kitchen anymore, and this was the best solution because the basement is gross and scary and I don't want her down there. So this half of the room is hers. That's her hut. That's those are towels. We need to do laundry. And then we have her collection of toys, which are usually scattered about. They're just not for this video, so I don't trip and die. But on this wall, we have my two pieces of art from Philmont Scout Ranch. I've always loved these pieces. I've had them for like going on a decade now. And then over to the right, next to the door, you have some real nerdy stuff. This is two bookshelves that we've decided to just place right next to each other this time. And they are full of books, comics, graphic novels, art books, player's guides, and then a lot of statues and figurines on the tops. But above them, we have a few pieces of art. Connor's Star Fox characters piece, the Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary piece, and then actually another new piece that we got from FurFest this past Christmas, which is by Brayburned, who did this really cool Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door inspired piece with Koops filming what I assume to be a grown-up Yoshi who was born in the course of the game, skateboarding. I don't know, it spoke to me, and so now I have it. Looking down here, we have our mainly on this left side, the Legend of Zelda series figures, but we got a lot of big ones there too. So you have the Ahsoka statue, a couple action figures of Luke Skywalker and Kylo Ren, a Porg, and then the Fox McCloud statue, Detective Pikachu, followed by Umbreon and Jolteon. And then mainly the rest of it is the Legend of Zelda. This is Rivali, which we got earlier this year from First Four Figures, and then the Link Twilight Princess statue. And I've kind of done this cute thing, right, where, hey, look, Skyward Sword Link, but also Zelda and the Loftwings from Skyward Sword. My camera won't focus, there we go. Zelda Loftwing, one of the best amiibo around. So you have two Skyward Sword amiibo together. Link's Awakening and Ocarina of Time Link are on their own, but then you have the Wind Waker, Link and Zelda, and then you have the Majora's Mask amiibo with this awesome Figma figure as well, and then the Deku Scrub, and then 2 Twilight Princess Links are together as well. So we kind of did something different with some of our amiibo this time, and this really speaks to that. And then below, it's mostly the same old, same old. We have our comic books up top. I mainly read Star Wars and Sonic the Hedgehog, don't yell at me. Twilight Princess manga, which is finishing up this fall actually. And then other books, Saga, Avatar, The Lord of the Rings. And then on the bottom, we have all of our Avatar Universe graphic novels. And then mainly just art books. Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, the Holy Trilogy of Hyrule Historia Art and Artifacts, and the Hylian Encyclopedia, the Art of Splatoon 2, Sonic the Hedgehog Encyclopedia, and more. And then over to our right, I put all the player's guides together this time. Most of these are collector's edition guides, and I have a tote full of more player's guides in the closet. Well, that's what we got there. And then we have mostly novels up top, and then Colton's cookbooks, and a few other miscellaneous things. And then I thought that since the Art of Video Games juts out, it'd be a perfect place to show off our tails and our Fox McCloud over there. We got those from FurFest as well. We may have spent too much money at FurFest. And then we have another assortment of statues, including some scouting statues, Deku from My Hero Academia, and then really just a lot of miscellaneous ones. You have Gigi, you have Toriel, you have Luna Lovegood, you have Kirby, and Ratchet and Clank, and more and more. And then of course, the main piece, this is where we're putting the Super Mario 64 Lego set, and it always makes for an awesome display. I love it. And then by the closet, we thought that this was a good space for some of our family photos. My side on the right and Colton's on the left. It is darn cute. And so we put that back up again. And then over to the right is the writing desk slash computer desk slash where work hopefully gets done. Now that the house is finished, I should be more productive. We got some of our like our wedding photos and other books like down there. Nothing's really changed with the desk, but I got a nice view. We had to really figure out the extension cord situation to even make this a suitable place for it, but I think it worked out pretty well. And then all of the art above the desk is pretty fitting. It's just accomplishments, essentially. So you have our framed bachelor's degrees, mine for Clarion University on the left, and Colton's for Bremen University on the right. Journalism and business administration, baby. And something that Colton and I now have in common is that neither of our universities exist anymore. Ha ha ha. Yeah, on July 1st, Clarion University, along with Cal U and Embro, has integrated into Penn West University, which is an awful name. And then Bremen is also U Massachusetts Global. So our alma mater kind of exists still, not really. So I feel like we should basically sell our degrees on eBay. That sounds like a good idea. They're probably rare now. And then a couple other scouting awards, Eagle Scout, Vigil Honor. And then I always want to, when I write at my desk, I always want to look at my characters to inspire me. Thank you, Gabe. Again, the main cast from A Saga of Souls, A World Under Leviathan. If anybody wants to read my stuff, let me know. I want to write more. Haven't had the time, but I want to do it. And then really, we just have this last wall, which I'm pretty proud of. It took a lot of doing to get this stuff together, because you have the knick-knack shelf, the fancy amiibo shelf, which I've often done, and then our other bookshelf, which is mainly amiibo. It's more amiibo than books, so we're really good scholars, right? So if you zoom in a little bit more, you'll notice that I have a different look for the knick-knack shelf this time around. I think there's fewer items on it now, actually, but I think it's got a cleaner look, and I appreciate that. You know, when I need to wear my Eagle Scout badge, I can just pick it up and pin it on my uniform, so it's right there. Followed by really scouting stuff in the back, including my Founders Award, and then my collection of belt buckles. I wasn't displaying the Northern Tier one before, but I wasn't wearing it, so I just figured Philmont, Northern Tier, and Florida Sea Base, they all have a belt buckle, and there they are. We have a 3D printed wolf from Ivy Tech. Thank you, Jason Gordon. And then this egg is actually done by a high school art teacher. She gave it to me. Mrs. Hendricks, you're awesome. And then a few other knickknacks here as well. My class ring, little wolf from Wolf Park, a few other things. My Malmex canvas, Blaze. And then over here, we have Dan Wobolsnot, our minis of Sirius and Lee in their fantasy garb. Again, thank you, Gabe. He's the best artist that I know personally. And then a few other scouting knickknacks. The few things that I got from E3 2019, including that link and that fin. And then really just my bookmark from Sam. Thank you, Sam. Shout out if you're watching. And then a few other knickknacks from my past. I'm sure I go into detail and explain them more in other videos. But then we have a little marble from Merwoods that we picked up earlier this year. And I don't know, I just think the knickknack shelf is looking pretty sexy this time around. And it's staying and it's level, and it was hard to put up. And then we kind of have a Zelda thing going on here. The theme is The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword with the Surface World map, and then this framed piece that I think I got from GameStop when HD came out last year. And then, of course, my brother's Conclave from 2019, A Way of the Wild, the entire patch set. I love these patches. I'll always keep them in this frame, and I'll always display them because that was an amazing time that we had together. And then the amiibo. On the top here, I did something different. I put all the monsters in the center. So you have the Guardian, the Emmy, and the Magnum Malo in the middle, followed by our Order of No Quarter. So we have our Shovel Knight characters from Treasure Trove on the left and the right. And then panning downward, we have more of the same, kind of what I've done in the past, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild amiibo. On the top row here, I think they're looking good. They're representing their corners of Hyrule well. And then another row down, we have Super Mario Odyssey amiibo in the middle, followed by Callie Marie on the left, Pearl and Marina on the right, and then our 3D World, Cat Mario and Cat Peach as well, representing our Splatoon music in hype for Splatoon 3. And then on the bottom row, kind of a different layout here, I have all the Kirby guys on the left, and then all the Fire Emblem guys on the right, and then Samus, Metroid, and the Pikmin in the middle. And then we have the rest of the Super Smash Bros. Series amiibo. Remember in Super Smash Bros. Melee, when you could look at all your trophies on a table? Well, man, I'm the real deal. I am the person who did that in real life, and there's probably tons of other people who did that too. But hey, I always wanted to do that. And then we have more Smash amiibo in the center cubby. Animal Crossing on the left. Poochie is also invading. And then the Mario series amiibo on the right. And then mostly Splatoon amiibo, and then a few others that I didn't really know where to put, including Monster Hunter Stories 2 amiibo down here. And there will be more to come, haha. But yeah, and then we have more of our collections of books, The Hunger Games, Redwall, Harry Potter, Out of Position, and more. And let's just do some amiibo panning now. Okay, that's it for the office, and now we're going to be heading into the bedroom, and look who we have here. It's taking up the whole bed. It's the darling daughter herself. How are you doing? People want to know. How are you doing? Her job is to relax, and I often wish I had her job. And as you first walk in, you get to see all of our dirty laundry. But hey, we finally got a washer and dryer of our own for the first time, so we will be doing that this weekend for the first time in this place. Wish us luck. But then what you really see when you walk in is I love you to the moon and back. And then on this wall, booyah baby, we have all of our sacred weapons of friendship. I say weapons of friendship because we got all of these in 2021. The Master Sword and Tanjiro's Blade were gifts from Maureen and Dylan for a wedding last year. And then these lightsabers are the ones we built at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with Travis, Brandon, and my brother Ryan. And they are beautiful, and they needed new batteries, but I did not skimp out. I did what I came here to do. Yeah, baby. Complementary colors, woo! And this is where we have hung up all of our wedding photos. So they're in the bedroom now, with Z for Zavinsky, all of our signed wedding hearts, and then it's the same layout as before, as you can probably remember. Get the light glare out of the way there. So me and Colton with our parents on either side, and then our brothers, Colton's cousins, and then my grandmother and Maureen. And I love this cube wedding layout. It is beautiful, and even more beautiful because it now hangs above our love shrine. So these are a lot of knickknacks that have more sentimental meaning to us, and I decided to just put them all together. So we're gonna go through these a little bit more in depth over here. So I don't know where Colton got this. It's just a thing that says love, and that helped me be like, all right, love shrine, okay, cool. So we have some of our ceramics that we got earlier in the year from different trips. Just really a lot of different things from travel, right? The Space Needle statue. This is a teapot from the Niles, I don't know, they sold knickknacks there. Antiquing, that's the word for it. But then we got some sentimental stuff too. We have me and my grandfather, Colton and his mom, our proposal art as well. We have our little laser engraved self-portraits from Ivy Tech. These are a collection of rocks that are important to me because they're from Philmont, so of course I've kept them. And then Colton graduated this year, so that's that Pikachu. We have our little lucky cat, which kind of represents Gem, that we got from the Japanese tea garden in San Francisco. A few other knickknacks from our honeymoon, what have you, and then a honeymoon photo from the Grand Canyon as well. And then we have more cute things on the bottom row here, as you can see. The Princess Peach box that was a gift from my mom to Colton houses our pin collection. Maybe too much to go through that now. And then a picture of us from the Pittsburgh Zoo 3 years ago. Never mind, 4 years ago. Time flies. And we have another TV in the bedroom, though I don't think we have used it yet, and we really don't watch TV in the bedroom, but we have it. So it sits on top of the dresser. And then underneath the dresser, we actually have our droid boys. They're hiding underneath the dresser. The droids we built at Galaxy's Edge, a BB-8 and the mouse droid, which had chips in it once, but now they all live together below the dresser. On the wall above the TV, I have a collection of art of nighttime wolves. The bottom piece is a new one from Furfest, again, really cute stuff. The Beastars piece that Brandon gifted us. And then the Starry Wolf is another Midwest Fur Fest piece. So as you can see, we've hung up some new art. It's not all some of the stuff that we've had before, and we've been waiting to hang up some new things. And I think it's pretty cute. And then we have some more familiar canvases on the far wall over here, including the big one with the green and pink leaf trees. And then we got some new posters hung up. So these are Cowboy Bebop and Demon Slayer posters, and it's actually kind of cute because I sleep over there on the far side and Colton sleeps here. Jem always sleeps on the bed as well, somewhere between us. And I got Colton into Cowboy Bebop and he got me into Demon Slayer, so we're representing some of our favorite anime in the bedroom. Now, not too much left in the bedroom, but we got a little nest of owls here, this cute little shelf that we got from the Valparaiso Art Festival, as well as our picture from Zion National Park. And then this is our final closet, which is where most of our normal clothes are. If it wasn't a Friday, there'd be some culinary jackets in here, but he has used them all this week, so we're doing laundry this weekend. So yeah. And then we have some of our personal photos, just kind of chronicling our adventures together over the past few years. You have Pittsburgh Zoo from 2018, Wichita Falls Wildlife Refuge from 2019, our Christmas card from 2020, And oh look, Gigi is here. You can look at yourself here. Good to know. And then our shed aquarium photo as well. We're nearly finished with the tour now, but from the living room you go into the kitchen. And there's not a whole lot to look at here. And mind me, I just did all the dishes this morning, so it's kind of cluttered. But this is our space for our kitchen, and our refrigerator is right here. So we have all the usual suspects for our magnet collection over here. You can take your time to check those out if you want to. Most of the same ones that we've had in the past. So a really cute collection there. And a couple more over here on this side. But yeah, overall, it's a pretty nice kitchen. Colton likes it. I think we got a little bit more counter space in here. And then mostly the same layout here. And then we have our Hoenn piece and the Arcanine here in the kitchen as well. And then we have these little flowers that we got from a store in Texas too. And then this door leads to the basement, but there's really nothing to look at in there, so we're not going to spend any time in there. But that is where our washer and dryer are kept. Again, we'll be using that this weekend, and we're pretty stoked about that. We can do laundry on our own. We got a pretty good deal on a washer and dryer together. And really the last thing that we have to show off is the attic, which is where our storage is. But I've actually made things kind of nice to look at up here too. So we've never had an attic before, so instead of a big closet, this is what we got. As you can see, there's a lot of space up here. It's actually kind of qualifying as a guest bedroom as well, if we ever use it for that purpose. But there is space up here, man. So much so that this was where all the art was before I hung it up, but now that I've done that, there's nothing. There's nothing at all. So there's not a ton to look at here. I've just kind of spread things out and organized them a lot. I know where everything is in this attic now, and that's a pretty good feeling since, honestly, there was always some things that I was never quite sure where they were before. But now we have a really cool space where just everything is organized. So you have camping stuff, suitcases, pet stuff. We didn't put that up again because it takes up a lot of space and it's hard. Christmas stuff, other miscellaneous bags and totes and stuff. Shout out to Klonoa. And then other Magic the Gathering board games, other gaming paraphernalia in here. Not really a ton to shout out about. But it's organized, and I'm bragging about that fact because it took the month of August. But it's done now. I've put a couple pieces of art up in the attic as well, including our SiriusLee piece by Gato that we've always hung up in every place we've ever lived. Do or do not, there is no try. That was my mentality when organizing this attic. And then over here is what I like to call the memory shrine, but we're going to get into that last. Over here we just have a cute little end table with Colton's art of Pokio from Mario Odyssey and a few other knickknacks over here. And then again, really just more storage, but hey, there's a lot of empty carpet space, so it can be used to blow up the air mattress if and when we do have guests. And then I did put up the keychain collection again. You have our lanyards, our keychains, our tassels from graduating, just assorted things like that. And so I thought that deserved to be hung up again, even if it is in the attic, right? Because there's a lot of cool stuff here, some keychains with sentimental value and all of that as well. So, you know, I've talked about these items in the past, and we still got them up. So I thought that was important. And every time I come up here in the attic and I leave the door open, she follows, because she just thinks this is the coolest spot in the entire world, don't you? But other than our cat, we have our hat collection really in that bag. Future stuff to scrapbook is kept in that box. And speaking of scrapbooking, that's really kind of what this area is all about. So this area is the memory shrine, and I call it that because it's really just all the stuff that doesn't really belong anywhere downstairs, but is still sentimental, has a lot of value, and is really just kind of like a history book of our lives. A lot of it mine, because I'm OCD, and I've been writing in my journal for 9 years now, and so it's going to be a decade soon of writing in journals. I've been scrapbooking since I was in middle school, so I have 27 scrapbooks, baby. 27 scrapbooks in that blue tote and in that tote. Between those two, all scrapbooks. Early drafts of novels I've written are there as well. You know, we have some other things like patch collections from Boy Scout trips that are in here, old calendars, just old documents, things that I've written for or been published in. There's just a lot of stuff in here that I'm not going to go into too much detail on, but it was nice to put this space together because now it all has a place to live. Our photo album from our 2018 and 2019 trips before we actually lived together. Really our wedding card collection, but also any greeting cards from family and friends that we get. They're just gonna go in here to live because I don't like throwing stuff like that away. But really that's kind of what all of this is just sentimental stuff. And like I said, scrapbooks in here. Every newspaper I've ever written for is in this box. It somehow all fits in one box. And then I hung up some clothes because really a lot of this stuff was just folded up before. So essentially what this is every Boy Scout uniform that I've ever had. So you have 2 from my youth here, then my uniform when I was a volunteer in Chief Corn Planter Council, then my district executive uniform, and then my uniform when I was a volunteer for LaSalle Council, and now I'm on my 6th Boy Scout uniform. And that's not even counting Cub Scouts. So that's a lot. And then other stuff from past careers, Colton's Walmart vest, my Warren Times Observer jacket, my long sleeve from the Post Journal, and my polo shirt from Ivy Tech Community College, because let's face it, I'm not going to be wearing this stuff again, but I thought it deserved a place to live. And then back here, I was able to drape the Divine Beast Va Meadow scarf that Rivali wears, because I was portraying Rivali in the OA of the Wild Conclave. That's in a video 3 years ago if you want to check that out. But I'm very proud of it, and it's got a lot of memories associated with it. Just like my merit badge sash from when I was a young man. And then the NOAC 2015 100th anniversary sash, a couple other items from the Order of the Arrow, my fill mount belt, stuff that I don't wear on my uniform anymore, but that's why it's a good place for it to be a part of the memory shrine now. And then you know, Colton proposed to me back after I proposed to him with a painting of his, and now I just put that up on the wall as well, because why not? It deserves to be in a space where you can just kind of swim through your old memories. And the same goes for stuff up top here. You have card decks, memorabilia from Camp Olmsted, extra copies of programs of things that I've been involved with here in this basket, including a picture from my class of 2014 high school senior trip. And then our adventure book, which is another scrapbook kind of chronicling our lives, mainly of our long distance relationship, but then also photos of friends and scrapbookable stuff in here. So that's where this lives now. And then some old scouting awards as well that didn't really have a good place to live in past residences of ours. And then my scouting coin collection as well. And then really just a couple other things from high school and college that I thought were important. The Chapman Way is a little thing that we had made at Ivy Tech because Chapman State Park is where we got married. You know, DVDs, old pictures, collections of that stuff. That all lives here now. Our high school diplomas, they just sit here now. So, you know, sometimes people misplace those, so now we can't. And then our wedding program and, you know, past awards and stuff. And that's me. That's Lee. So it's the memory shrine. And then we have a couple photos of our family trips from Christmas 2020 as well to kind of top it off. So that's what the memory shrine is. It's just kind of a place for a lot of documents to live inside totes, scrapbooks, journals, other publications, newspapers, but then also we just got a lot of stuff to show off that is from the past. And we don't need to look at it all the time, but I still wanted there to be a nice place for all of it to live. And that, my friends, is it for the house tour. We've now done 3 of these, 2 apartments and a house to call our own. We are renting, but it is a step up in our lives, and I'm very excited about it. It took a month to get all this together, which honestly is making pretty good time, and I don't think we did it that quickly on our past 2 places. And there was honestly more stuff to do this time. I'm just very obsessive compulsive, and I wanted it complete, and now it is complete. So our house looks good. We now have a very awesome sanctuary to come home to, a home base that we can feel proud of, and I'm really big on that. So hopefully you enjoyed some of our designs for the interior of our place. It's always fun to show it off, and you know, leave comments below about what maybe your favorite elements were. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Now you may be wondering, why am I dressed up today? I mean, I do dress up for scout functions, work, whatever, but actually I'm going to a wedding today. Now the people who are getting married requested no photography or videography, so I'm not going to be vlogging anything from their ceremony or reception at all. But they're 2 of my very good friends from growing up, Ryan Haslett and Kimberly Parasini. Congratulations, you 2, on getting married. They've actually been dating since high school, and I've known them basically separately. You know, I knew Ryan from Scouts growing up, I knew Kim from student council, and actually she was a park leader with me during the summers in college when we worked at Beatty Park. So she's been on the vlog before quite a few times, if you go back to those early years. Both of them are amazing people, and I'm gonna go celebrate their wedding. It's about 2.5-hour drive away, but it's gonna be a great day. I'm gonna see some family and friends as well, so looking forward to that. So that's on the docket for today, but that's it for the house tour. I'm not sure what the next vlog is gonna be. It might be a while before it happens because work is going to keep me very busy, and then I really got to focus on some other hobbies like writing and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot for me to do, but for now, thank you guys so much for watching. The next videos on this channel will probably be Easy 64 video game reviews because Logan's been waiting patiently so that I can get back to work on those. So look forward to more content on this channel in the future. Until then, I'll see you in the next chapter.